Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Vintage, kind of. At the request of Patreon subscriber Guy, I am exploring the Vintage format with the upcoming Eternal weekends in America, Europe, and Asia. And today I'm doing something a little bit different, just trying to make the format a little more approachable. This is a budget build of Mono White Initiative, which is a top deck in Vintage, though it is a deck that uses a lot of power. And before we say anything else, I want to specify that this is budget in relation to the Vintage format. This is still like a $4,000 or $5,000 deck, which is an insane number, and I mean, this is kind of what we're dealing with, but the fully powered version is a $52,000 deck. I've done quite a good job cutting the money off of this, and still coming from nothing to play this deck is obviously out of reach for a lot of folks. But if you have a Legacy collection or a Commander collection, you're probably a good chunk of the way there already on the expensive stuff. I've removed all the power from the deck, replaced it with stuff like Mana Vault, Soul Ring, Lotus Petal. Obviously these cards are worse than Mox Pearl and Black Lotus, but they do save you thousands of dollars to play these versions instead. There were 2 Tabernacle of Pendrell in the sideboard. Those are mostly for dredge, so I added a 4th Leyline and a 3rd Containment Priest, just kind of different hate cards there. Again, they operate on a different axis, might be worse, might be better. That's not quite as cut and dry as turning Moxen into Lotus Petals, but it is at least something you can do. I was honestly surprised by the price of this deck after cutting all that stuff. Turns out this deck is just full of $50 and $100 bills, even on the air quotes budget build. Ancient Tomb is close to 100, Cavern of Souls is 50, City of Traders is like 300, Wasteland's a good chunk, Chrome Mox floating around 65, Mana Crypt, thanks Commander, just $170 card despite multiple printings of that. Solitude, nearly a $50 bill. There, you get what I'm saying. Like you get 50 and hundoed up to several thousand here, even without any dual lands, even without any power. Still heckin' expensive, but like I said, you don't need a Black Lotus to play this build of the deck. All of that stuff out of the way. This is the initiative. We know this deck if you paid attention to Legacy or Vintage at all in the last year. Initiative really broke onto the scene last year at Eternal Weekend, so that was last December. That was its big announcement to the paper world. It had been on Magic Online for a couple of weeks at that point. Some folks have been working on it in paper before then. White Bloom Adventurer was still legal in Legacy for that tournament. Terrible, terrible stuff. And Initiative put up several top 8 finishes in the Vintage Eternal Weekend last year. Vintage is a format that is high power and very fast and very brutal. However, it's also kind of fragile. It's like a thoroughbred racehorse, built for speed, built for power, but if it rolls its ankle, you have to turn it into glue because it's just not good for anything at that point. And some decks cannot beat Athalia, Guardian of Thraben, just fully bricked. Archon of Emeria, even worse. These Null Rods in the sideboard, I considered main decking them for the budget build because we don't have our own power that we're going to step on, but I still think it's probably better off in the sideboard. Chancellor of the Annex, just put a little daze on the stack before the game even starts, get your first spell through. Solitude, that's your Force of Will in this deck. You can clear any blocker and keep on bashing. And a Vintage deck that is slightly disrupted by something like Thalia or Archon of Emeria will die very quickly to White Bloom Adventurer. And that's kind of the whole thing about this deck. That's its thing in Legacy. It's also its thing in Vintage. Vintage decks can be more powerful, but they can also be more susceptible to the hate. And I don't really have anything else to say about that. we cut the power for cards that don't cost thousands of dollars each, merely hundreds. Jeez. Abolish the reserve list. But also, this deck still does the thing that it does. It's a fully functioning deck in formats that don't have power in them, so we know this works. Let's see if it can hang in an environment against power decks. 3-for-1 Trading is one of Europe's leading Magic the Gathering retailers. Their online shop has a fantastic selection of high-end Magic cards, especially for vintage, legacy, and old-school players. They now exclusively offer the BoshNRoll community free, fully insured, and fast worldwide shipping on all their high-end singles, full sets, and out-of-print sealed product. They upload new cards every Wednesday with weekly sale offers and reductions. Use my code BNR0723 to get free worldwide shipping on your first order over 341 euros, approximately $380. Scan the QR code or go to shop.3for1trading.com. I'm on the play in round number 1, and I have Chancellor of the Annex, Cavern of Souls, Lotus Petal, Soul Ring, and Chrome Mox. This is a turn 1 White Bloom Adventurer through Cavern if I wanted to, and with Chancellor backup. What budget deck? I don't even know what's going on. I'm actually paired against a local of mine. This is Ken, who plays at Titan Games. Shout out to Ken and Titan. Been traveling a lot lately. Have not had a lot of time for the LGS, which is a shame because I really like that store. Hope to be back soon. He asked if I'm testing for the Buffalo Chicken Vintage event, which, if you're not familiar, check out Buffalo Chicken Legacy. They're a really great organization, and they are running a vintage event in late September. I unfortunately have a wedding that day, so I won't be attending that event. But I would if I could, because it looks really good, and I really like showing up to Buffalo Chicken events. Good people. They run good events. Check that out if you can. Okay, Chancellor of the Annex revealed. Opponent got rid of some stuff here. So this is potentially a deck that can keep up with what I'm doing. I see we're the villain now in the chat. Yeah, kinda. Okay, Lotus Petal, get in. Chrome Mox, get in. Pitch the Chancellor. Play Soul Ring. And knowing that this opponent is not going to counterspell me, I wonder if his Cavern should not be on Orc or Cleric. There are way more humans in the deck. A human. This one is also a Cleric, human soldier, Archon, human. Yeah, most of my things are humans. I could use Petal to cast White Bloom Adventurer. Oh, I should have done this backwards. I'm such a dingus. I should have used Cavern on human to cast Soul Ring and then kept my Lotus Petal. Yeah, all right, I'm still going to Cavern on human here, but I did just missequence that because I was busy thinking instead of actually playing the game. White, 1/2, White Bloom Adventurer. I can still cast Solitude next turn with my basic land, but that was a little bit of a spew. That Lotus Petal does not need to be in my graveyard right now. If he's got something like Force of Vigor, your stuff eats the Angel Trigger, and then Mindbreak Trap the White Plume Adventurer, probably going to win here, but that would be a really weird specific thing. Oh, wow. We do have 2 forces then? Or Force plus Mana Source? Did I blow it? Just getting double forced? Oh, okay. That force I don't care so much about. I mean, I care, but also, like, I think I would have done that in the opposite direction. Okay. So I don't have Solitude unless I draw a white card. But I do have the initiative. And opponent does have 3 cards in hand. There's the Bazaar. We knew that because stopped after Serum Powdering. Yeah, actually had the exact thing that I was worried about, but did it in the reverse of how I was thinking about it. Oh, look at this. 2 more Force of Vigors, 2 more Force of Wills. This is the aggressive pitch version of this deck. And I think I do want the Lost Well. If I can find a white card to pitch this Solitude, I'm going to feel pretty good about the game. Okay, City of Traders can get out of here. I will keep Loran on top, though. That's a white card. Loran, not exactly high impact for this matchup, but she is a card. White Bloom Adventure untaps. I don't have to worry about haste creatures. And we're just going back into the bazaar. Oh, Hollow One is an artifact that I care a lot about here. So actually, Lauren was great. 2 Root Wallas and a Squee. These Root Wallas do not have haste, and they're very small. Gitaxian Probe, have a look. Go into the stash here and get a treasure. Draw for the turn. Really hate to see the Chancellor here. White Plume Adventurer can bash here. I get to untap it. Second main, I am going to play Loran. The Chancellor is a great pitch for Solitude, at least. No targets at all for Lauren. And they got the Squee engine online. So cool. I love a Squee plus Bazaar Baghdad interaction. Bazaar discarded 2 Squees and a Master of Death. At the beginning of your upkeep, a Master of Death in your graveyard, you can pay 1 life and return it to your hand. Found a second Bazaar. Alright, we might get just outvalued here. This Bazaar is going to 0 in hand, though. The old mill 2 strategy. I get a Spooky Skeleton this turn. Ancient Tomb. This is very close to delivering me a Cast Solitude. I'm just going to attack with my creatures. I got to push damage at this point. And I don't think drawing a card with Lauren makes any sense. And they've got a hell of an engine going over there. And I'd rather it just... I'd rather I don't have to do more than that. I go into the Throne of the Dead 3 next turn. They have to get through 2 blockers and a Solitude. Get to return 3 things to hand. So Bazaar Baghdad at this point is just tap draw 2. At least the first activation. And then the second one is actually a Bazaar Baghdad. Master of Death does cost life, though, which is the most precious resource. Yeah, decline the Master. Thinks the life is worth more here. Here we go, Bazaar Baghdad. Discarding 2 Squeeze and a Serum Powder. Other Bazaar. Discarding Force of Negation, Hollow One, Force of Vigor. Yeah, I figured there was another Hollow One there that makes sense. Pitching the first one. And I don't need to make a decision on Solitude now. This isn't Force. I can do this whenever. So I'm going to go into the Throne of Dead 3. I might just hit Solitude, and then I'm not worried about Hollow One. See what happens here. Hit Solitude. Also Seasoned Dungeoneer, which can give an attacking Cleric protection from creatures. Okay, so Solitude makes a gigantic thing, but does put opponent up to 12 life. Seasoned Dungeoneer does not answer things, but it is the biggest cat on the block and makes White Plume Adventure unblockable. Yeah, I think I'm in for Seasoned Dungeoneer. That also puts me back into the dungeon where I get a Plains and can just cast this Solitude. Yeah, that just does everything. All of that before I even draw for my turn. Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. I suspect they'll struggle with that. Okay. I cannot quite win here, but I can get incredibly stable. I'm actually going to Solitude the Basking Root Walla, because my creature has Menace. I'm bigger than Hollow One. I just don't want them to have life points to play with. Skeleton has Menace. White Plume Adventure has protection from creatures. Opponents at 1. Okay, they've had enough. Cool. Now we bring in all this hateful mess for this kind of deck. Archon of Absolution, really interesting. This is immediately a matchup where not having 2 Tabernacles in the sideboard hurts. Also, on the subject of Tabernacle, there is frequently a budget and or unpowered category in large vintage tournaments. And Tabernacle is usually not on those lists, so I built for just no cards that cost $1,000 basically. But if you own Tabernacles and want to play this list and want to qualify for budget or unpowered prizes, you probably are pretty safe to include those. Got to figure out what I'm cutting here. Opponent is the hyper pitch version of this deck. Archon of Emeria, probably not going to cast a whole lot of spells. No, Archon's messed up. Thalia, and I want like a lot of these cards basically is the problem. Archon of Absolution, creatures can attack you or planeswalkers you control unless a controller pays 1 for each. Pretty tough to get to 4 mana, but this card is not particularly beatable for my opponent's deck. Peacekeeper can name Bazaar, which is a huge deal. I can never cut any mana. Can't cut Solitudes in this matchup. Chancellor is a lot worse on the draw, and could just fire a Root Wallet into it. Okay, I actually am off Chancellor for on the draw. I'll consider bringing it back on the play. Archon, Archon, Plow. And I'm actually going to shave a Containment Priest. That really only hits Vengevine out of the deck. The ley lines are still good because it cuts off the draw engine, but the Vengevine is the only thing that really comes out of the graveyard. Root Wallas and Hollow Ones show up from hand. I'm going to try it like this. This is more of a creature matchup where they have a value engine than it is a true dredge matchup. Okay, abysmally slow, but I do have Leyline. I'm going to try it. Opponent's on 6. Let's hope this Leyline slows them down enough. Activating Bazaar. So this either means you have Hollow One or you're digging for Force of Vigor, or both. And these are exactly the hands where Tabernacle would be insane to have access to. Because opponent can just put any number of creatures in play right now, and then I play Tabernacle and they have no mana. And all their creatures die forever. That's kind of the 1-2 punch in these matchups that I don't currently have access to. Fury, Squee, Master of Death to exile, and no Hollow One. Sick. Okay, I'm going to Cavern on Human. And then I'm just going to pass. Kind of perfectly played around Force of Vigor by not having any fast mana anyway. Nailed it. Another Bazaar activation. 3 Force of Wills straight into the bin. Hollow One has shown up this time. Chromox, okay, we're cooking. Cavern on Cleric. If they have Force of Vigor and respond to Chromox exile trigger, that could be a huge blowout. Okay, didn't happen. All right, I'm down with WPA. I'm going to have to block, or else I lose the initiative, but I'm betting that my creatures are bigger and badder from here on out, basically. Okay, little risky introducing the initiative, but I can just, even if I take a hit, I can just slam it back. Maybe I just don't block. Let opponent have the initiative. I suspect there's not many or any basic lands in this deck. Yeah, I think I just let him have it and then play Seasoned Dungeoneer next turn. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try that. You have the initiative. Is there a basic land in your deck? Tell me now. Nope. All right. Perfect. Okay, where this can go wrong is you could put a Root Wallet into play mid-combat. But that's not even that wrong, because I do have thing to play. All right, now I don't. Tough beats. Seasoned Dungeoneer. Okay, I'm going to attack now. Now I actually need this attack to connect. Root Wallas are really bad for me here. Okay, we just went straight through blocks. Love that. Okay, I am going to go into the Forge and end up with a bigger creature, which is the most important thing going on right now. And then that creature untaps next turn. Here's the basic land you know about, and pass. White Plume Adventurer untaps. And now the graveyard is open, but we did successfully stuff 2 Bazaar activations, which included a Squee and a Master. Master, Serum Powder, second Bazaar in the graveyard. No attacks here. I've got a 5/5. Oh dear. Fury. It's got to be Fury, right? And I'm blocking. I'm not going to not block, that's for sure. You want to go Hellbent to Fury me out, that's fine. Deal. That didn't trigger a Vengevine. That didn't really do anything. Just a 2-for-1. And I'm about to unload more initiative from my hand. Going into the trap, zap ya. Bang. And now Cavern on Archon. And play this human. Archive draws a card. Swords to Plowshares, cool. Alrighty, opponent Hellbent, but does have Bazaar plus Master of Death going. Master is not Squee, this does cost life. And I'm headed for the Throne of the Dead 3 next turn. Even if they do loot into Vengevine plus 2 Root Wallas here on just 3 random draws, I can just trade with Vengevine in combat. Did hit Vengevine, didn't hit any creatures though. And the Throne will probably end this game. I'm really looking for a Pithing Needle guy, whatever that one's called. Anointed Peacekeeper, there it is. Anointed Peacekeeper, just named Bazaar. Czar of Baghdad. That now costs 2 mana to activate, which is something your deck's not capable of doing. And Reseasoned Dungeoneer, which gets me a Plains, which will be my land drop, which will hold up Plow. We got the GGs in the chat. And in we go. Sweet. Okay. Unpowered, no problem. Opponent was playing on a very specific axis that our powerful sideboard plan was good against. And I literally just went land go, or hit my land drops. I had 1 Chrome Mox available for 1 turn as far as like vintage fast mana goes, but kept a hand that just had 3 mana and something to do, and it held up here. On to the next round. You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7-Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7-Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7-Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7-Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better. I'm on the play in round 2. Unfortunately, this Thalia cannot come down on turn 1, and I don't really have a plan to go deeper than that. I am going to mulligan for some faster mana. All right, here we go. Turn 1 White Plume. Keep and put one of the Solitudes to the bottom. Is White Plume better than Peacekeeper is the question. Probably not. I'm going to go with Peacekeeper. And I'm going to exile this other Solitude and just really try to load up on initiative 3 drops. Okay, what are you working with? Just show me a Bazaar deck that I can name Bazaar against. Workshop, that's a problem. Okay, well, the Sphere of Resistance is going to kill me. Can't really name Wasteland here. They can just metamorph me right back. They can metamorph and play. Okay, what cards in this deck? I can't turn off mana abilities with this card. I don't want to name Wasteland because I don't have any lands anyway. And eventually I want to waste them. There's a Nettlecyst in the hand that has an activated ability. Yeah, I'll just name Nettlecyst and send it. Knowing the matchup now, I wish I had let on White Plume. This is guaranteed basic land. It's really nice. They have access to 4 mana that we know about. Okay, went with Automaton. Then they're going to Mox Pearl Sphere of Resistance and just have a 3/3. Okay. Alright, gotta draw a land now. I like Peacekeeper against any blue or Bazaar deck, and I like White Plume versus Shops, and we just lost the 3-sided coin flip. Land. Alright, not a land, but it is a Thalia. I'm going to attack with this creature. Okay, we get in there one time before we can't get in ever again. And Thalia is in a little late to the party, and opponent is just gassed up on gigantic mana sources here. Old 2 mana Mox Sapphire, still pretty good. Patchwork Automaton is bigger than what I'm doing now. Oh, I totally forgot that Peacekeeper has like a Meddling Mage version and not just a Pithing Needle version. I should have named Sphere of Resistance here and just guaranteed myself a turn to operate. Whoops. Yeah, that was pretty clearly the play. Dumbass. All right, White Plume Adventurer that I cannot cast now because they know how Anointed Peacekeeper works, even if I don't. And a Vault, not a bad one. This thing has Vig, I can get in. Vault costs 3. Let's get it through. Yeah, you can tell I don't play these decks. Very important interaction, just thrown in the trash. I won't make that mistake again. This is why we test. Learn from my foolish errors. Automaton is enormous now. Has been, but I mean, for sure is now. Ah, they just tried to equip Nettlecyst. Not going to work. That costs 4. Got him. Great. Re-Automaton. I think I chump with Thalia this turn. She is not helping me, and in fact might be hurting me. Put Thalia right there. Deck full of artifacts that hurt me. Baby. Lost the flip. I'm at 9. Another Chrome Mox. Not great. I have exactly enough mana to cast this White Plume Adventurer, and then lose the initiative and die. Perfect. Just how we drew it up. This game is not winnable. All right. GG's. Okay, I messed up on the Peacekeeper. I also just lost my 2 out of 3 coin flip to know what the matchup actually is. Swords of Plowshare is coming in, of course. Null Rod is an interesting one because sometimes shops plays Null Rod because they can Mishra's Workshop up over the prison elements while your things that get out of their prison elements are under lockdown. Lauren's great here. Peacekeeper is good. Just got to use it right. Thalia is medium. I mean, Thalia can stop their opening turn deployment, but I kind of don't want to squeeze my own resources here. And maybe Thalia's just out, and I'll start working Null Rods in. I don't think I like any of these cards less than Null Rod. I know it's counterintuitive. The artifact deck, the deck that's built around a land that can only cast artifacts, just Null Rod might not be what you want, but I think that is true. Okay, going in. On the play with turn 1 Peacekeeper. Yep, all right. Turn 1 Peacekeeper, turn 2 Seasoned Dungeoneer or Loran. Shattered Skyclave, Pay the Life, Mana Crypt. It's a painful start, but it's what we got. 2 Wormcoil Engine, Sphere of Resistance, Mox Pearl. Phyrexian Revoker. Wow, I'm actually really worried about Phyrexian Revoker. Maybe I don't have to be. If I name Wormcoil Engine, those can just chill for a very long time. If I name Sphere, they'd actually have to tap out to play it, and then I just kill it. Okay, I'm going to name Sphere of Resistance. Wait. If they play Sphere... Or no, I'm naming Sphere. Yeah, I was going to say if they play Sphere and Revoker, I might just not play the game at all. But I am going to name Sphere. I can just kill Revoker. And if they tap out for Sphere, I can just pick it off. Pearl, Shop, Revoker, naming Mana Crypt, as you do. Mana Crypt taking its pound of flesh. Oh wow, Wasteland. They'll have 3, 4, 5 mana next turn. I think I'd rather... Yeah, I'd rather Loran this turn. I'm going to start with combat, though. Give them a chance to block, and then I kill their Mox Pearl. Right, Loran, get in. It's already taken 8 from my own permanents. Barely even started the game. But that's okay. Here for a good time, not a long time. Saga. I have Wasteland for that. I have Plow for a Wormcoil. I have some concerns about the second Wormcoil. But I'll have Pro Creatures by then. Even if they play Sphere this turn, I can play Seasoned Dungeoneer and waste them. And I'll pre-combat the Seasoned Dungeoneer because I do have a Cleric that can attack this turn. Oh no, they have a Metamorph. Bummer. That was a good draw. Name Dungeoneer. Good call. Mana Crypt. Survived. We did it. Easy game. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could just cast the Dungeoneer anyway and get Smotion. I could also play White Plume and still Wasteland them. And then I have the tough choice of, do I go after the Saga, which could generate a bunch of problems for me, or the Workshop that represents all these Wormcoils. I think I'm just going to go to combat first with Peacekeeper. So if I am going to play Dungeoneer this turn, can I get it done that fast? I think White Plume Adventure is better, because then that guarantees the land is Seasoned Dungeoneer next turn also. Okay, so I'm going to attack first. And then second main, Wasteland. I think I want the Workshop. No, because Urza Saga is eventually Black Lotus. And that just casts the thing anyway. Don't need to take 2 damage here. Initiative anyway. Tried to play around it, but you can't. All right, Lauren just chilling. I don't think I want to feed my opponent cards. I think I'm ahead. Another Saga, okay. That doesn't cast Wormcoil Engine. Nettle Cyst, okay. Equipping Nettle Cyst to their Big O. Is having 1 Big O better than 2 Big O's? You know, Swords to Plowshare is in my hand. That's really interesting. I could block with Lauren. Can't just take it, because they'll have the initiative and my life total is very low. Just have to decide what I'm blocking with. Maybe my Peacekeeper I block with because I don't really care about Sphere of Resistance anymore. I block with Peacekeeper, and I still don't think I want to draw cards. And I always want to draw cards, but I don't want my opponent to. Okay. Going to the Undercity, I think I'm going to forge up Lauren. Or no, I'm going to forge up the Cleric. That can get protection from everything and attack meaningfully. On the flip. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Seasoned Dungeoneer. Oh, right. I have to plow first, because that's how this card works. Alright, Swords to Plowshares first. They do gain 7 life, but I'm about to take it all back. And Dungeoneer gets in. I trap you. Trap. Take 5. And attack with these creatures. I do the thing. Anointed Peacekeeper in my revealed card zones. No, I don't want that card. Put it to the graveyard. Okay, so they're at 6 and I have protection from creatures. They have to actually remove Seasoned Dungeoneer this turn to do anything, to actually win the game. They can't just put Wormcoil in front of it or Monstrux or whatever. It's out of range of Dismember. Yep, they don't have an answer. Cool. Just racing. And now on the draw against Shops. And it's all awful. Everything's awful when you're on the draw against Shops, but I have my Solitudes, I have my Plows. This is what we get. Let's do it. This is probably the matchup where not having Real Moxen and Lotus hurts the most. Okay, Solitude, Wasteland. One of my Moxen. I'll keep Workshop. Sphere. That's in. I think I'm just going to Wasteland and try to lock them under their own Sphere. Not usually a winning choice, but I do have double Wasteland here. I got plenty of mana to play. Yeah, backup shop. Making me look a fool. Phyrexian Revoker. I hope they name Black Lotus, just thinking that I actually have that card. Bro, Mox Tilt. They know. Alright, I'm going to Wasteland them again. Bang. Wasteland from you. That's troublesome. Okay, now I have some choices. Solitude is cool. Alright, I'm going to Cavern on Archon. Alright, I'm going to Cavern on Human. It doesn't matter, it's going to be gone. But I am going to pass this Chrome Mox while I can. Exiling, I think it's the Archon. Yeah, Solitude's just really important. And Amiri's Call is my land. I'm going to have to Solitude the Revoker to turn on the Chrome Mox. But if they don't waste me, like if they're worried about being stuck under their own sphere, I can just cast Lauren next turn. Alright, nope. Very much wasted me. I'm not surprised. That is the whole point of their deck. Ancient Tomb off the top. I can zap in Amiri's Call, but I think I want Amiri's Call to be a white card more than I want it to be a land. I'm just going to play Ancient Tomb and pass here. It would be sick if they did not play an Ancient Tomb right now. Cool. I'm going to Solitude the Revoker, exiling Amiri's Call, exile that, and hope that they don't have a spell. It's not a meaningful one. Cool. Now Lauren can destroy Urza's Saga. Cavern on Human. Or I think I want Elemental. Cavern on Elemental. Because I can cast my Human anyway. Like, that doesn't actually change anything. They're not a counterspell deck. Destroy your Saga, and now I can cast Solitude because I have double white for it. Okay, they're in a bit of a pinch, but it's not complete yet. Ripping another Wasteland or another Lauren or a Karakas to loot my Lauren all would be very good. Getting the initiative would be very good. Peacekeeper, okay. Let's see what you're cooking with, opponent. I think it's okay to take 2 here rather than show the City of Traders. So we've got Nullrod, Sphere, Trinisphere, Metamorph, Revoker. I think I want to name Metamorph, because they can tutor Soul Ring, Black Lotus, Mana Crypt. Their mana can come out of this saga, is what I'm saying. Okay. And like I said, Null Rod in their deck. Phyrexian Metamorph is the card I'm going to name. And going to smash. Saga can pop, or has to pop here. Saga pops here. They can have 3 or 4 mana, depending on what they tutor. Soul Ring it is. And they lose if they cast that Null Rod. So Revoker can name Mox probably. Yep. Alright, still mostly locked onto their own sphere. I still can attack. I have another Cavern. Attack with Peacekeeper. I don't think I want to offer up Lauren here. This Cavern also has to go on Elemental, as silly as that is, but that is how the cookie crumbles at this moment. Mox Sapphire. They're starting to dig out slowly. Hopefully way too late to matter. Still not drawing cards. Not interested. And then cash out my my long investment here. Hold 6 mana Solitude, double uncounterable. Exile the Revoker. Chancellor costs triple white, not even close to that, though I do have the raw mana for it. Just not the correct colors, which turns out is pretty important. Automaton way behind the 8 ball here. Just gonna bash with all my creatures. I don't mind trading Lauren for this before it gets any bigger. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I play a Miria's Call, I lose City of Traders. And getting closer to casting Chancellor seems like kind of a goofy endeavor. I know their hand sucks, which is great, and they're on a 2-turn clock. Swords to Plowshares, that's going to make it even harder. And they need to answer 2 creatures right now through a Swords to Plowshares to win this game. Locked under their own sphere. Null Rod in hand, that would immediately delete them from the game. Hell yeah. Going out in style. I appreciate that. Cool. Once again, no power, no problem. On to the next round. Remain undefeated. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the draw in round 3. I have 4 mana available on my turn 1, or could be more. I basically get to decide which of these idiots I want to turn 1, and then I get the rest of them after that. I'm going to keep Mox Burrow. Mox Jet. Not fair. Ancient Tomb. Tilt. The mirror match, but they have real cards in there. This is probably a problem. Yeah, I just like don't even want to play Archon of Emeria now, because I think that'll hurt me more than it helps me. Archon does fly, though. Okay, Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal, Archon. Alright, yep. Absolutely splattered by the mirror and the die roll. Like if we had turn 1 to this Archon, these Mox Pearls don't happen, or Moxes don't happen for over, what, 2-3 turns? Your Dungeoneer is much later. Strip Mine entering the battlefield tapped. Good shit. Oof. Alright, they have the double initiative, and they get the untap stuff. I need to draw Solitude this turn. They just revealed another Dungeoneer off of their Explore trigger. I'm at 7 and dead. Alright, yeah, drawing Solitude actually doesn't even help. Okay, absolutely murdered by the powered mirror who won the play. Swords to Plowshares coming in. Archon of Absolution coming in. Protection from white pretty good in this creature-based combat mirror. Thalia seems bad. And Lauren also seems medium. Thalia could slow down their initial dump. Lauren just kind of kills their Mox Jet or whatever after they've already cast their spells. Less interested in that, and probably Thalia does go. Because I need 5 slots. Okay, let's do it. Okay, I can turn 1 Peacekeeper, turn 2 Dungeoneer. I'll keep it. Oh, they have a Chancellor. Oh, they have 2 Chancellors. Yikes. Okay. City of Traders, cast Chrome Mox, pay for both Chancellors is the strat, I guess. I don't get a turn 1 play now. I guess I just pitched this Anointed Peacekeeper. It's not what the game's going to be about. I do have Solitude your creature play my own, but I am very dead to Wasteland. Black Lotus must be nice. White Plume Adventure resolves. Gets a Plains. Chrome Mox. Oh, they're not done. I pitched one of the Chancellors. Okay. Ooh, Archon. That one is pretty exciting, actually. But I'm just gonna get the initiative here with the bigger version of the creature. There's Plains in my hand, and I have Solitude and some options of what to pitch. If they Solitude me, I can Solitude them. All right, that happened. I guess I have to pitch the Archon. Just in case they play another initiative creature and take it, I need a way to take it back manually. At least that's how I'm thinking about this. Hope it's true. Okay. Soul Land off the top. Oh, I get the Lost Well. I forget that I still get the initiative. So stupid. This mechanic is messed up. Hey. Bottom, top. I get the Adventurer, who sends me deeper into the zone. I get the Stash, which can cast Seasoned Dungeoneer next turn. Okay, they are untapping into potential 4 mana, though. All right. They got nothing. I get the Catacombs, Spooky Skeleton, achieved, and I get to fire straight into the Throne of the Dead 3 here. I get an Anointed Peacekeeper. Yes, I can. Is that even better? Oh, they've already conceded. All right, sure. Cool. All right, took turns just shitting on each other. Whoever had the play won easily. Right, I'm turning my Thalias into Lorens. Because on the draw, I'm not going to stop their initial dump out. And Loren just could have some random destroy your mana crypt value or whatever. I don't think I'm supposed to play Null Rod in this mirror. Certainly not on the draw. Maybe it's better than Thalia on the play, though. Okay, I have a Chancellor. I have my version of fast mana, and I have some disruption. I'm going to keep this. My turn to reveal Chancellor. Tilt. Counter of Souls. Absolute unit. Okay, it didn't just cast a human and shrug off my thing. They did actually have to pay for it. If I draw a Soul Land, I'll take the initiative. If I don't, I might just strip mine them here. Because I'm not ready to come out blazing and actually do anything. So I'm just going to chill. And I'm not going to play my Chrome Mox out where they can kill it. They might Thalia me or something, which would be really bad, but good chance that card's not in the deck. Oh, here it comes. Great. That's fine. I have a land drop that can pay for Chrome Mox. Okay, Cavern on human, I guess. And then cast Chrome Mox, exiling Chancellor. And now I gotta hope I draw a land next turn. And that I get a next turn. Cavern on human. They cannot cast White Plume Adventure with the mana they have. Oh, now they can. Cool. And part of me is glad that we're seeing the difference between the powered version of this deck and the unpowered version. I mean, we beat 2 opponents who were not playing our own deck, but a better version. And now we're getting beat up by Moxen and Black Lotus. If I draw a Soul Land, though, we're still kind of in this game. Solitude. Little late to the party. I mean, it's fine, though. I need a mana, but this does answer their immediate initiative problem. Please go for Dungeoneer. Oh, they went for Thalia. Weak. Thalia is not any of the creature types that Seasoned Dungeoneer cares about. Alright, well, there's that card. I'm going to respond with Solitude. Get rid of this Dungeoneer while I can. And this probably names White Plume Adventurer. Oh, it named Anointed Peacekeeper. Interesting. They must have just the answer in their hand that wins them the game, because now I get the initiative because they didn't name this thing. I mean, they get it back very quickly, but still could have just not been part of the game at all. Right, I'm going to trade with the Peacekeeper. Just trying to remove things from play. They get the initiative anyway, so that doesn't really change anything. And if they have another initiative creature of their own, they go into the archive. They're threatening Throne of the Dead 3. Okay, yep. I have to draw Solitude to still be playing this game. That's not Solitude. Okay. GG's. Okay. Completely shithoused on the draw against the powered version of my own deck. That makes me feel like there is some justice in the universe, even though I'm sad to lose. On to the next round. The Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting TCG events. It features easy-to-create event registration for 1v1 and 4-player Swiss structured tournaments. Event management has never been so simple, and it's web-based, so there's no download required. Get access for just $5 at eminence.event/subscribe. I'm on the draw in round 3 with turn 1, whatever I want. I just need to survive turn 1. I'm going to keep. Archon of Emeria is my knee-jerk. Probably best card out of this group, but we'll see what my opponent actually does. Island Pithing Needle. Okay. Good guess. What are we naming? What are we worried about? Wasteland? Sure. That is a card in my deck. Okay, I'm going to play Chrome Mox, and this is actually really tough because every one of these cards is good. If they're an Urza Saga deck, I'm going to want Loran. If they're anything else, or Archon of Emeria is like way better than Thalia at doing what Thalia does. Okay. I'm going to play Archon. Force of Will. What are we doing here? That's not allowed. Okay, Force of Will pitching Hull Breacher. Looks like we're against some blue Tinker pile. And I was right to sandbag the Loran out of suspicion for Urza Saga. Feel good about that play. If you have another Force, please don't. Cool, got him. Yeah, the turn 1 Pithing Needle on Wasteland made me wonder what they were scared of, why they were so scared of that. And I've kept lots of hands on the strength of Urza Saga before. Okay, I can double spell here. I'm going to start with Anointed Peacekeeper, see what they're working with, and then make decisions from there. Oh, Tinker's in hand. Okay. Yeah, I'll name Tinker. Tinker plus Island in the hand. And I'm going to attack my opponent's life points. And then I'm going to play the other Loran. And we're not going to draw cards on the way through. I guess I should keep the original one. I still get the trigger and the option to play it. God, I love vintage players. Just already conceded. Not interested. Black Lotus in the deck. Like, I don't know. Ancestral Recall in the deck. Just, all right. Just out of here. Not interested. Cool. Okay. This is a matchup where Null Rod is good. We got some blue Tinker soup over there. And Containment Priest can stop the Sphinx of the Steel One from coming into play, but I have a bunch of white removal that can clear it if I'm worried about that. So I'm not. I'm just bringing in the Null Rods, and I think Chancellor the Annex on the draw kind of sucks. I mean, it's always annoying, but it's not really what I'm in business for. And we've seen Hull Breachers. They have at least some amount of creatures in their deck. Yeah, I'm just going to do this. This hand way too slow, just doesn't do anything. I'm mulligan it. This is the same hand, but with more lands in it. Opponent kept 6. Gonna go to 5. Okay. Turn 1 Null Rod. With backup, turn 1 Null Rod. I'm in. I'm actually gonna send this Peacekeeper to the bottom and just go in on double Null Rod. I have to assume they'll answer the first one. Till, if there's even a game still to play. We will find out soon what this Black Lotus is for, because I am gonna... Oh, bummer. This Lotus Petal just jacked up my business. Okay, this is actually fine, because if I Null Rod and they counter it, next turn I can Lotus Petal, White Plume, Null Rod. Orcish Bowmaster. Okay, that is multiple creatures. That'll be annoying for my deck to work through. Okay, Null Rod is just in there. Unless they have some destroy spell or bounce spell here. Double Bowmaster. Okay, I understand why you kept the hand. Now my hand looks bad. Okay, that's 3 creatures versus my deck that wants to play against 0 creatures. And I currently cannot cast my spells due to my own Null Rod. Right, deck, White Source. Soul Ring. I guess I play these out Do I play these out? Do I vintage player shame concede? I don't think I'm doing that. All right. I'm going to play Soul Ring. I'll hold back the Lotus Petal. There's no reason to play that out now. Yeah, I was hoping that they would just draw some cards and then get stuck under Null Rod, not play multiple creatures on turn 1 and pressure me out. Okay. Here's a Caracas. I will deploy the White Bloom. I will lose the initiative immediately, but I have a creature that can tangle, and I'm starting to get mana under me. Hopefully it's not too little too late. Ancestral Recall, that's a good card, I've heard. There's a Saga, also pretty good. Hithing Needle probably names Wasteland here. I think the play here is to attack with 2 of these creatures, but not all of them. Yep. Now they get the initiative, and they have a blocker to keep it. The tutor a basic land if you have any left. Already have 2 in play. Vintage decks usually don't play a whole lot, like 3 or 4 is the max I've seen. They did have 1 more though. Okay, I need a Seasoned Dungeoneer. All right, all 3 Null Rods. I get it, deck. I get it. I went a little hard on that, getting buried for it. I understand. You don't have to keep doing this to me. And now they can forge and do everything else. I guess I can't concede because Seasoned Dungeoneer is a unit. Scrying 2. Good call. Saga makes 2/2s right now. They bottom the Scry. Strip mine. Annoying, but okay. Your own Soul Ring. Ha! Null Rod finally did something. Got him. We go to my turn, and I concede. I can't get through. They have the initiative. They have a parade of blockers. I'm good. Okay, those Null Rods kind of betrayed me. And knowing about Bowmaster, I still want some Null Rods. Like, it's good against what they're doing. Do Chancellors come back in on the play? If so, what gets cut? I could play Zero Solitude and all my plows and just go 1 for 1 against this deck. Maybe I don't need every Chancellor. I'll still have 3. Valley is good. All these creatures are good, yeah. Those are all non-negotiable pretty much. Mirror's Call, very important. Part of my mana base, part of my Chrome Mox package. Alright, maybe Chancellor is silly, and I should just have removal in over all of it against this pseudo creature deck. Trying it. Okay, on the play, I have no white mana in this hand. I'm gonna mull it. I'm gonna keep this hand. It's not as explosive as I'd like, but it has pretty good turn 2. I'm gonna bottom the Plow and play Mana Vault. Just gonna go Plains Mana Vault, send it, and try to do stuff after that. Opponent's on 6 as well. There's a Saga, okay. Are they gonna need a Wasteland again? Because I got that covered. Oh no. We're getting tinkered. We did not get tinkered. That's good news. Oh, City is also good news. I'm gonna start with White Bloom. Just, that's gonna happen. Let's go. I don't think destroying a colorless source before playing this card matters. If this was an island or something that could dress down or something, I would interact with it first. But they can cast Bowmasters with what they got. Oh shit, they could have Oppo Agent. Alright, Force Pitching Merchant's Roll, okay. Alright, did not play around Oppo, probably should have. But unpunished, as usual. That Force Pitched Merchant Scroll, and let's see what the follow-up is, because I have an Archon of Emeria next turn. City of Traders was a great draw there. Another Saga. Still no blue mana. May or may not matter. Solitude. Okay. Archon get in. It sucks that they have the 2 Mox in to go with this Saga. They get to just do their thing. I need a mana source next turn. Start doing dungeon stuff. Who doesn't love some dungeon stuff? Island achieved. Mox Pearl achieved. 1 card left in hand. Doesn't appear to be Tinker. Doesn't need to be. Or they played Mox Pearl. That was their spell for the turn. Could still be Tinker. Tough beats. So this is a white card I can pitch to Solitude and not feel too bad about it. Begin the beats. Make a 4/4. I will be plowing that in response to Saga activation this turn. Minimize the life they can gain here as much as I can. Do this now while it's a 4/4 before it's a 6/6, which will happen any second now. That's my spell for the turn. Manifold Key. Uh-oh. Are we dead? Okay, they didn't play Time Vault. I could still draw a land right now. Alright, or I could draw another one of these. Let the race begin. Caca. I'm not blocking at 17 life. Might as well turn it sideways. Also, I might not be able to block because they got Manifold Key. Unblockability is one of the things on this. Oh no, do they have Hull Breacher? That's annoying. I mean, I will trade with that one, but it is annoying that they had anything. I wish their hand was just a brick. If they can make Hull Breacher unblockable and get in for 8. Yeah, that's a good swing. Not going to block. I don't think chumping is where this game is headed. Not yet, anyway. How about that land deck? Okay, I mean, not quite what I had in mind, but not the worst either. Getting in there. I'm just going to plow this construct before it does anything. On a short clock, and the Mana Vault is actually seriously cramping my style right now. Academy enters battlefield tapped. Good stuff. Ancient Tomb. When I'm dead on board to it. Great. Great. Yeah, that showed up too late. My deck does still have Swords to Plowshares in it. And Solitude. But I'm gonna die. No, I'm just dead to Mana Vault. Alright, yeah. Yeah, Mana Vault, once again, power deck versus unpowered deck. If this is just like Mox Pearl instead of this, or if this is Black Lotus instead of this, we life total is 4 or 5 points higher. What is it, turn 7? I did this on turn 1, used it on turn 2. Yeah, so I took 5 from it this game. I'm at 9 here instead of 4. We get the Dungeoneer in, etc., etc. It's just a different game, but that did sting quite a bit. Even Dungeoneer a turn earlier would have done stuff. But tight game. A game where Null Rod would have been insane. We didn't draw it. And a game where Null Rod did nothing except hurt me. We drew 3 of them. So that's Magic sometimes. On to the final round. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop. And be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I am on the play in the final round. I think I said round 3 at the start of last round, but it was round 4. I tricked you. This one, I have turn 1 White Plume, or I have turn 1 Thalia and turn 2 White Plume. This is an all-in situation regardless. Or wait, can I get Thalia and White Plume in? 3/4. No, I'm 1 short of that. I am going to keep it. The awkward thing is that Thalia taxes the Mana Vault. Here we are again in a spot where if this is just some Mox, even an off-color Mox, it's just way better than Mana Vault. Costing 1 versus 0 is a big deal. Obviously. Okay, I'm going to Chrome Mox pitching Lauren and Solitude. Solitude, Lauren. I'm going to start with Thalia and just hope that I chose correctly. Because if they interact with Thalia, then the Mana Vault is not more next turn, and I can play White Plume. Any mana source in my deck, I get White Plume. And having played against Thalia many times in my life as blue decks, this might be enough. Mox Emerald, how many of these are they going to play out? Just the one. Okay, come on, mana source. Ding. I would like to pay 3 life. And White Plume Adventurer. Thalia resolved, so I expect White Plume to as well. There are certainly hands in these blue decks where you would let Thalia resolve, but I don't think hands that go Underground Sea, Mox Emerald Go would have kept the Thalia around if they could avoid it. Okay, we're kind of doing the thing here. Oh, are we bug? Just boring old bug. Xerox. Such a geezer deck, but people do still play it. Forge versus Lost Well. In Lost Well, if I can keep the pressure up right now, they're in trouble versus just getting them dead. I'm going Lost Well. Can't help it. Control Gamer. Just show me the Seasoned Dungeoneer. I'll take that one too. Bottom, top, draw. Got my land. Back with my stuff. Orcish Bowmasters. This kills Thalia, blocks White Plume. Sure. Okay, second White Plume. We're in there. I go into the stash, or do I want to goad actually? Actually going into the arena. I'm gonna make this Orcish Bowmaster attack me next turn. And I'm gonna invest in my mana vault all in here. I have 2 3/3 blockers to make this Bowmaster battle into. If they have like Abrupt Decay or some other geezer card, they can take the initiative, but I still end up with a 3/3. Narset. Well, that settles the do I go into the archive or the catacomb decision. I have to go into the catacomb now. Alright, and I win. Cool. Yeah, Bug is just one of those decks that people who played a lot of Vintage in 2011 are still really into. And the deck's fine. It's just like, I don't think I've ever lost to it. And people really like it in paper. I guess it's a deck you only need to own like 5 pieces of power instead of 9 for, which I know the notion of only 5 pieces of power is pretty insane, but also like, it's a lot less than 9. What do you want from me? Okay, Swords of Plowshare is coming in. Thalia sucks against Bowmaster, but is really good against all the spells. I actually think I'm off Thalia here. And Bug is a deck that plays cards like Collector Oof and Null Rod. I'm probably not in much of a hurry to bring in my own Null Rods. I don't think Archon of Absolution is actually good, but I do think it's probably better than Thalia. Thalia just dying to Bowmasters, and especially me being on the draw. I'm going in like this. I don't like Containment Priest because it shuts off my own Throne of the Dead 3. Okay, this is a turn 1 Loran, turn 2 Seasoned Dungeoneer. I'm going to keep. Opponent's on 6. Oh, now I have an Archon of Emeria. I like that card a lot. From Mox. If I get Spell Pierced here, I'll Wasteland them. And I'm not really out anything. Cool. This is actually really funny because I could still just turn 1 this Archon. Or no, I can't. Yeah, right. Duh. It's like, I can still do the thing that costs 3 mana. No, you can't. Stop it. Okay. I don't think I'm going to play this Grom Mox. Not really a reason to. We both denied each other some mana at the cost of a card from our hand. Playing turn 1 all over again. Archon of Emeria. Emeria, the Shattered, whatever. ETB's tapped. And I'm going to pass. Okay, they do have more mana. And there's the Collector Oof. Okay. Gonna need a soul land. Glad I didn't invest anything into this Chrome Mox. Oh, or I could just kill this. Yeah, let's test that one. I'm gonna pitch Loran to Solitude, and then see if I can play an Archon of Emeria this turn. Chrome Mox, exile 1 Archon. Zap in the Skyclave. And Archon's in. Next mana source gets me Seasoned Dungeoneer. Mox Jet. Spells are done. Come on, Plains. Ooh, that's a Plains someday. I'm gonna attack first. They could like flash in Brazen Borrower and trade, I guess. Just trying to think of literally what could go wrong. Yeah, Opposition Agent would be kind of annoying here. It's still just a creature and they steal my Plains. Kind of whatever. Okay, I'm into the Undercity. And I just get a Plains, cool. That's my 4 mana for Dungeoneer next turn. Even if they Bowmaster in the end step, White Plume untaps. So I have 2 blockers here. So they're doing something. Right now, Soul Rend. Destroy target creature. If it's white, a creature destroyed this way can't be regenerated. Draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. That's cool. Just an aggressively specific slow trip Doomblade for the initiative matchup. Sure. Okay, they can get the initiative this turn if they want it, if they want to lose their Orcish Bowmaster to do it. And they can't play any other spells this turn. So I'll let you get a basic land. Nope. Nope. Stop tapping mana. You did that already, remember? Okay, cool. That's done. Well, they have something for 1 blue in their hand that they would have liked to do there. Good to know. Archon of Emir is bullshit, just for the record. There is a forest in the deck. Now it's in play. And they slow trip here. Soul Rend. Good stuff. I'm going to attack first because if I take the initiative in combat, then I get a trigger. And then when I play Seasoned Engineer, I get another one. Whereas if I play Seasoned Engineer pre-combat, I only get 1 initiative trigger this turn. Combat has successfully connected. I think I want to go into the Lost Well. Their removal is not size-based. Yeah, these cards are all bad. Bottom both. Glad I don't need those. And Dungeoneer, second main. I know they have a spell in their hand. They tried to cast it on their own turn. I don't know what it is. Alright, Brainstorm, that's fine. Brainstorm cannot find an answer to this because that's your spell. And they're conceding Brainstorm lock to get out of here. Cool. A positive record with unpowered, air quotes budget by vintage standards, initiative. We lost to the powered mirror, in which we also lost the die roll. And we lost to a Tinker deck of some variety that had a bunch of power in all the games we played. There are, I think, 2 big takeaways for me from this. One is that you can certainly win matches of vintage without a single piece of power in your deck. This deck showed up strong. I don't even know if it's built optimally for the conditions. I just kind of took a stock list and replaced all the power with worse versions of power. Maybe there's a actual structural rebuild that gives you something better. Maybe you want Spirit Guides over some other stuff. Like Spirit Guides are a short-term burst. If we're leaning into short-term bursting anyway, maybe just lean all the way in on that. There's some stuff you could still do with the shell. The other takeaway is I just beat up 3 powered vintage opponents with this unpowered version of Initiative. So the powered version, it makes perfect sense why it's the #1 deck in the vintage metagame right now. Respect this deck, folks. Whether you are going to play it yourself or whether you are looking for a budget version of vintage that you can build mostly out of a Legacy and Commander Connect collection, or if you're playing a different deck, and just make sure you can beat this one because this was scary even without all the most broken stuff in it. Guy, thank you for this invitation to explore this side of vintage. Everybody else, thanks for watching. I hope to see you at one of the Eternal Weekend events. They're awesome. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the Patreon and the sponsors that support the channel, and I'll see you next time.